Hey folks, welcome back to the Toronto Marlies Insider. The Marlies hosted the Syracuse Crunch for the second game in a home-and-home series, having lost a close game 4-3 last night. So let's jump into it. But before we do that, we want to give a special shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. SeatGeek is the best place to go if you're looking for tickets to a sporting event, concert or a live show. Click the link below and use code Toronto Marlies Insider, all one word, to get $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek will let you know if the tickets you want are a good value or not with their 1 to 10 rating system to ensure you always get the best bang for your buck. So make sure you check them out and use the promo code Toronto Marlies Insider to save $20. The Crunch opened the scoring after a soft hooking penalty on Zach Solo. Joe Carroll with his 4th of the year with less than 4 minutes to go in the first. Gage Gonsalves and Declan Carlisle with the assists. With just over 90 seconds remaining, Mitchell Chaffee doubled the lead. He somehow managed to skate in past Max Ellis without being touched or even noticed and sent his shot past Keith Petrozelli in the Marlies net. Gage Gonsalves and Devontae Stevens got the assists. Before we go on, just take a look here at the body language of Max Ellis. It really does sum up the current mood of this team. The first period ended with the score 2-0 to the Crunch. Shots were 11-6 to Syracuse. The second was a kind of bland affair. Although the Marlies did outshoot their Crunch 11-7, this was aided by 2 separate power plays for the Marlies. However, they just couldn't find the net. The score remained 2-0 to the Crunch. The Marlies, as they have done for the past few games, came out hot in the third period and scored just under 2 minutes into it. Logan Shaw with a beauty of a wrister after a nice little drop pass from Zach Solo. Marshall Rafai also got the assist.
We talked earlier about what side your stick is on. That's a right-handed shot. His stick's in the middle of the ice, makes that a more dangerous shot, and he finds the back of the net.
That shot we have seen.
With the Marlies on a 5-minute power play, they conceded a short-handed goal. Solo was out-muscled here, which, given his diminutive stature and the fact that he fights hard for every single puck, can be forgiven. But to compound this, William Villeneuve made a half-hearted effort to get the puck and was caught static. The Crunch then had a 2-on-1 and Chaffee struck the short-hander to end this contest. Maxim Groshev with the assist. And that's how this one ended, 3-1 to the Crunch. Shots in the third were 19-7 to the Marlies and 36-25 to us overall. That was another frustrating loss for the Marlies. To play so good in the third period last night, only to come home and just mail it in, is very frustrating. The Crunch's second and third goals could have been avoided and they should have been avoided, and all that was needed was a little bit more hustle from Ellis and Villeneuve. And that's the most frustrating part. If we lose to a better team, so be it, it happens, it's pro sport. But to lose because players aren't giving 100% for 60 minutes is completely unacceptable and just beyond frustrating. Head coach John Gruden needs to work on our work rate a lot. Now, I'm sure Rich Clune will have a lot to say to the guys when they practice on Monday. But also our goal scoring. 1 goal from 36 shots is unacceptable at this level. Shaw had 7 shots. Bellows, who has cooled down drastically, had 4. Petronero, Niemela, Clifford, Ellis and Ovchinnikov all had 3 shots, but never really looked certain to score. There's a kind of certainty when Bobby McMahon or Alex Steeves, for example, have a clear shot on net. Now, I'm not saying they're guaranteed to score or they score all the time, but the confidence in their shot selection is very high. We need a huge turnaround if we want to have any chance of making the playoffs. Let's hear what head coach John Gruden and defenseman Tommy Miller had to say to the media after the game.
John, what's the message to the team after a tough stretch of games?
To be honest, I didn't talk to them. I don't talk to them after losses. Only when something, because they already know. You know, they're a bunch of pros and a bunch of good leaders. They don't need to hear. There's nothing I can say to make it feel better. So I've kind of done that in the past, and I thought they played extremely well for 50 minutes. So unfortunately, didn't get the break or the results we want, but you know, the style of play was good.
What did Syracuse do differently, or if anything that they did differently on the penalty kill to make sure you guys couldn't capitalize?
Well, I thought they did. We scored 2 goals yesterday on that back door, and they laid their defensemen down, so it was a little bit harder to get that pass through. But again, you got to take what they now. If that's the case, we got to put it back up top and just keep shooting pucks and hopefully get second efforts. They had 11 chances. You know, the power play had some really good looks. They just unfortunately didn't get it done at the end of the game.
Like you said, they're all pros. You guys have experience as well. But what's the process like for people that don't know on moving on, just focusing on the next game?
Well, again, it's next day. It's like the next up mentality. The next day, we can't sit and dwell on things. We got to learn from our games, and we always have to get better and find it, fix it, and forget it. But at the end of the day, we can't sit and hang our heads too long because it's a tough league, and if you do that. It's going to be a long season, so we got to continue to keep that positive reinforcement with our players. And it's some, key guys. Some big guys took some big hits tonight, and at the end of the day, we'll get a day off, and then we'll go back to work on Monday.
As a coach, what does it mean for you to see the guys put their bodies on the line like that? You know they have the commitment there. It's just not coming through in the results.
Well, again, we want to take this. This isn't just a now result thing. This is something that we want to build on for the end of the season. At the end of the day, we want to be in the playoffs, and we want to go look back at these times and moments and say, man, that's what helped us propel us get to where we are right now. So that's all we can do.
Wondering if you have any status on Alex Steves and his progression?
I do not. He's got an upper body injury, and he's unfortunately wasn't able to play. So hopefully it's nothing too serious, and we see him back sooner than later.
After 2 games, what's it been like to have Rich Clune with you guys? And just curious how it all came together to get Rich Clune behind the bench in the first place.
He's a big part of the developmental staff. We have a really good developmental staff, and he was the guy that we needed someone to help out with the forwards, and he was available. And we had long conversations with him, and it just made sense. He's got great energy. He's positive. He understands from a player's perspective. He's freshly removed. Only spent a year, and at the end of the day, I'm glad he's on board, and he's going to help us with a lot of insight. And I think the players enjoy having him around as well.
After you called that timeout, that the power play started clicking together, and was that power play actually working the way you expected it to, even though it didn't convert? Is it going the way?
It did. I mean, with what we saw what they were doing, and we wanted the puck in Bruiser's hands, and then he had to come down and make a decision whether to put it to the net or slide it to Bellows or Topi, or he has three reads, and then they have to. When they get in those moments, they have to trust their instincts. So we had it set up the way we wanted to, and we had a couple looks. But again, our guys worked. I'm not going to sit here and say that they did everything they tried to give themselves a chance to win.
Do you have any update on Ellis or Gambrell?
I do not. Ellis took a pretty hard hit there, and Gammy had to leave the game in the first. So I just hope they're okay. They're a big part of this team, and hopefully we get good news.
Tommy, what's the messaging to the guys after a loss like that, especially from the vets in the room?
I think it's getting back to working hard in the little things. When you work hard, things kind of tend to fall into place, and when you do the right things tend to go your way. So right now it's about going back to the details, small things, getting your checks, good sticks, good gaps, crisp passes, and then things will follow our way. So we know when we play well and we play our game that we can beat any team in this league, and it's just about getting back to that.
I know a shorthanded goal can cloud this, but you guys did outshoot them 19-7 in the third period. Were there parts of that third period that really felt like the Marlies hockey you guys know?
Yeah, I think even in the second period we played our game, and into the third, and with those power plays, that 5 minute at the end, I thought there's a lot of belief in the locker room going into the third period that we were going to be able to get this win.
Zach Solo had a great play to get Logan that pass for the goal that you guys had. How have you seen Solo develop? I know he was called up last year with the Growlers. How have you seen him develop this season?
I've spent a lot of time with him. Me and him have gotten to be pretty close even last year and going into this year. Carries a lot of weight in the locker room, always brings a lot of energy. You could be at the rink early in the morning on a practice day and he's bringing a ton of energy, and he brings that on the ice. You can see it. He plays with a lot of passion, and it's contagious around the other guys. So that he brings it on and off the ice every day.
For you, just hearing kind of stories from some of the other guys about Rich Clune and his time with the Marlies, what's your perspective on him joining the coaching staff and what he can bring?
It's great. He has a different dynamic in coaching where some of these guys have played with him and have good relationships with him. I didn't get to play with him, but I was here a little bit, get to know him. Great guy, great player, and and he'll carry that in the coaching. Great, like I said, great relationships, great communication between the team and the coaches, and I think he'll fit right into the coaching style. He's made for it.
This Syracuse team is kind of a rival to you guys in your division. 2 losses like this, some tight games and some really hard-fought games. How much does that light a fire under you guys for the next time you come across this team?
I think it's a big, with how things are going right now, I think it hurts a little bit more that they are that close, and we do see them a lot during the season. Close games, you wish that you could just get rid of a period or 10 minutes of a game, but you can't do that. You got to play a full 60 to win, and like I said earlier, whenever we're playing our game, we could beat any team in this league.
The Marlies' next game is on Tuesday against the Grand Rapids Griffins. But before that, we want to say thanks again to SeatGeek for sponsoring our post-game recaps this season. Make sure you click the link in the description below and use our promo code to save $20. As always, we hope to see you at the Coliseum, but if not, we'll catch you in the next one.